Felix Who Learned to Lose. Felix was what the forest called a true champion. Once, a chess tournament was held in a woodland clearing, and animals came from all around. Felix played game after game. He first beat the squirrel strategist, cleverly avoiding her traps. Then he defeated the badger mathematician, quickly calculating a complex combination. When it was time to play against the owl, known for her wisdom, the forest fell silent. The game lasted longer than the others, and for a moment, it even seemed Felix might lose. But in the decisive move, he smiled, placed his piece, and said, "Checkmate." The owl nodded slightly. "Well played, young fox." And so Felix had beaten her too. His moves were precise and swift, and his posture confident, like a true master. After every check, he raised his head and nodded slightly, as if he already knew the outcome. After his final victory over the twin fox, the crowd of animals burst into applause, and young squirrels even began to hop in excitement. From then on, Felix's name was spoken with special respect in every corner of the forest. His tail was always groomed, his whiskers neatly trimmed, and his gaze confident, sometimes even too much. Every morning, Felix trained. He jumped from stump to stump, tossed pine cones into a basket, and practiced his old chess strategies. Sometimes, he played both sides of the board, trying to beat himself. The forest animals admired his cleverness and agility. But Felix increasingly felt he wanted something more. He just didn't know what. Even though he was praised and envied, he felt like he was competing not with others, but only with himself. And it was exhausting. One day, while playing forest chess with the badger, he suddenly lost, and it caught him completely off guard. Unable to hold back his emotions, he flared up, knocked the pieces off the board, and stormed off without saying goodbye. It was the first time he truly tasted defeat, and it felt like a disaster. What would the others think? How could the great winner lose like that? He sat alone for a long time, tossing acorns silently at a tree trunk. Sometimes he missed and watched the acorn roll into the moss. Why did I act like that? He thought. Maybe I'm not such a winner if I can't even handle losing. Then he trudged home gloomily and went to bed, upset and sullen. "No more games," he muttered. While Felix slept, a gentle autumn breeze rustled the leaves and carried a small paper through the window of his den. It landed softly on the table, among his arranged chess pieces. When he woke up, he stretched and noticed it. At first, he set it aside, but still feeling down, he decided to read it. In colorful letters, it said, "The big game, today at Pine Clearing. Starts at dusk." One spot left. Felix frowned. A game. He had just lost. He wasn't in the mood. But what kind of game was this? Why only one spot? His stomach fluttered with curiosity. Something inside whispered, "Go, just take a look." On his way to Pine Clearing, he saw a fallen tree across the old forest path. Next to it sat a young hare trying to move a stick to get around it. "Need help?" Felix asked. The little hare nodded. Together, they dragged the stick over, climbed across the trunk, and continued down the path. A bit further, they reached a stream. The water was higher than usual. Some animals hesitated on the bank. Felix and the hare helped carry them across, one by one. Everyone thanked them and laughed, and Felix felt a warm glow inside. At Pine Clearing, many animals had already gathered. A large round table stood there, covered in cards, tokens, wooden pieces, and dice. Around it sat a fluffy-tailed squirrel, a thoughtful hedgehog, an owl in glasses, and a chipmunk with a cheeky grin. "One spot left," the owl said, peering over her glasses. "Joining us." Felix wasn't used to working in a team, and yesterday's loss still bothered him. "What if I mess up again?" he thought, looking nervously at the game materials. He felt like everyone was expecting something from him, and it made his chest tighten. But the owl Alwyn was already explaining the rules. The chipmunk, Chippy, handed out cards. The hedgehog, Bramble, winked encouragingly. "Well, all right," Felix muttered to himself. He didn't even notice when the game began, or how his thoughts slowly gave way to the action around him. It wasn't a usual competition, but a cooperative adventure, with challenges that tested attention, agility, cleverness, and trust. The goal was to journey through the forest, complete tasks, and earn tokens together. In one round, they had to guess what was in a bag, using only their teammates' descriptions. In another, they built a bridge out of sticks so the whole team could cross. Then came a treasure hunt-like challenge where they searched for items based on clues. Another round had them navigate a maze blindfolded, guided only by the team's voices. "Will be called Autumn Leaves," suggested Bramble. "I'm in charge of the bags." Hazel the squirrel laughed. "I'll make the plan," said Owl Alwyn. "And I'll bring the fun," Chippy shouted. Felix smiled, but still felt unsure. He was used to relying only on himself, but each round forced him to trust others. He let Hazel go first across the stick bridge because she had the best balance. He encouraged Chippy when he forgot an answer. He still couldn't shake yesterday's loss. "You held up great," Bramble said after one challenge. "Really?" Felix asked, surprised. "Of course. We're a team. Mistakes are part of the journey." With each round, the tension eased. Instead of getting angry, Felix started to laugh at their little blunders. Even when they nearly dropped the marble in the passing game, it wasn't scary. Everyone cheered each other on. They built towers of acorns and leaves, sang silly songs, played word games, and took turns explaining mysterious cards. Hazel was agile. Bramble remembered patterns. Chippy made everyone laugh. And Felix was learning to listen, to wait, to help. Finally, a gong sounded. All the animals held their breath. Well then, the owl moderator rose from her stump, adjusted her glasses, and smiled. "Friends, the results are in." Felix held his breath. With a 1-point lead, first place goes to the Mossy Stars. There was a pause, then applause and cheers. Chippy clapped his paws. "We almost caught the champions," Hazel cheered. "That was amazing," Chippy added. "And we did it all together," Bramble said with a smile. Felix exhaled and smiled. "Thanks, guys," he said. "That was wonderful. Let's play again sometime." Alwyn nodded. "And now time for cake." A big cake appeared, topped with berries and chocolate pine cones. Animals from all teams sat at a long wooden table. For the first time, Felix ate cake after losing, and it tasted sweeter than ever. To the sounds of forest flutes, they sang, told funny stories, and danced by the fire. And in the sky, the first stars appeared. The next morning, Felix didn't train alone. Instead, he built a game with Hazel. They invented new rules. Bramble drew the cards, Chippy crafted dice, and the owl edited the instructions. Felix still loved winning. The excitement and pride when others congratulated him, that was still there. But now, he noticed something even better. The joy when your team celebrates together, even if you didn't come first. Losing wasn't scary anymore, because the real prize was the warmth that stayed inside after laughing, trying, and supporting each other. He had changed. Once he tried to prove he was the best. Now he simply wanted to be part of something kind and real. The most important thing was to be on a team, lift each other up, and enjoy the game itself. And soon, new teams were gathering at Pine Clearing. Because, it turned out, games built on friendship were everyone's favorite. A few days later, the same little hare, the one they had helped across the stream, came up to Felix. He had a crumpled cap and a shy look, like he'd been gathering courage. Hi," the hare mumbled, shifting from paw to paw. "You helped me that day, and I saw you all playing. It looked really fun." Felix smiled. "Thanks, want to join next time?" The hare looked down. Well, yesterday I lost at Tile Hop and got upset. I stormed off. Now I feel kind of embarrassed." Felix nodded with understanding. "Happens. I used to walk away when I lost too. But I learned, when friends are around, it's not so bad." He paused, then added, "Come to our next game. We have fun. And no one laughs if something doesn't go right." The little hare gave a shy smile. And somewhere in the leaves, new flyers were already rustling. Next game coming soon. Teams forming.